Pirates of the Caribbean review series continues today with Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men's Chest. And I believe Dead Men's Chest is the highest grossing Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I believe it made over $1 billion when it first came out in 2006. Like, that's huge. That was proof that Disney can make anything with this franchise. Is Dead Men's Chest as good as the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie? Unfortunately, no. However, do I hate it? No. Is it a good movie? Not at all. So Dead Men's Chest takes place a while after the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley's characters finally got married, and it's completely unnecessary because their story ended in the first movie and they don't need to be in this movie at all. And Johnny Depp does return as Jack Sparrow, of course, and he's once again great as his character, but he's really overused. One thing that bothered me the most about Dead Men's Chest was the story. The story is way too complicated. There's one sequence that goes on for way too long, and a lot of people thought that it ripped off Star Wars. And this sequence that I'm talking about is the native scene where Jack Sparrow gets kidnapped by a bunch of these natives. It goes on for way too long, like 20 minutes, I believe, and it's completely unnecessary, and it has nothing to do with the story at all. The reason why people compared the native sequence in this movie to Star Wars was because in Star Wars, Han Solo got kidnapped by Jabba, and a lot of people thought that whole sequence in Return of the Jedi went for way too long, and people thought that Pirates of the Caribbean ripped that off. And yes, there is a villain in this movie, and it's Davy Jones. And the reason why Davy Jones is in this movie is because he's after Jack Sparrow, because Jack forgot to pay his debt with Davy Jones. And honestly, the best thing about this movie is Davy Jones, because the way he looks is great. It's a great motion capture performance. I believe the actor who plays him is Bill Nighy, I think. I don't know how to say his name. And Davy Jones is right up there with Gollum from Lord of the Rings as one of the best motion capture performances of all time. And yes, there are some things that I did like in this movie. For example, I like the humor. The humor in this movie is pretty funny. Jack Sparrow is probably the funniest part about these movies. And the action scenes are wonderfully choreographed. For example, there's a really cool scene involving a wheel mill. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you've seen the movie, you'll understand. But unfortunately, Dead Men's Chest is nowhere near as good as the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It's disappointing, it's confusing, it's boring, it's way too long. There's a bunch of unnecessary stuff in it. However, is it an awful movie? No. It's not as bad as some other sequels, like for example, Batman and Robin, Spider-Man 3, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Godfather Part 3. Dead Men's Chest is nowhere near as bad as those other sequels. It's just not that great, unfortunately. I'm gonna give Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men's Chest a C+. Alright guys, that's it for my review of Dead Men's Chest, and my Pirates of the Caribbean review series will continue next weekend with my review of At World's End. And I have a question for you guys. Out of all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which is your least favorite? Or, if you've seen Dead Men's Chest, what do you think of it? What have you thought of it? Comment below and let me know. And if you want to see more of my videos, just be sure to subscribe.